there was a game up in Seattle with a lot of implications divisionally and in the conference. Seattle against the San Francisco 49ers. It did not go the way the 12 thought it would, Richard. San Francisco blows out the Seahawks.
Yeah. They just were too beat up going in. I don't think Geno's elbow was healthy. They didn't have your boy K9, so the running game wasn't where it should be. They didn't score an offensive touchdown, and that's a cause for concern right now. You know, there are people calling for Shane Waldron's job. The 49ers, that's their fourth straight win over the Seahawks. That hasn't happened in a really long time. Nick Bosa, 5 sacks over the last 3 games since Chase Young has come. He's heated up, and that's been incredible. Seahawks were on a roll, but they got a tough next stretch of games that they're going to have to figure some things out, starting with Dallas on Thursday Night Football on Prime. DK Metcalf didn't have the kind of game that he needed against Charvarius Ward. Kyle Shanahan decided to put Charvarius Ward on DK Metcalf for the majority of the game, and he found some success there. Yeah, I mean, Ambry Thomas has been a revelation for the San Francisco 49ers. Brock Purdy played a really solid game. He did have the interception that was tipped up in the air for a touchdown. That was Seattle's only touchdown. But man, I don't know where to start because Seattle's offensive line needs some fix. There's so many questions to be answered. Defensively, there are holes. They drop people into coverage right there on the touchdown to Brandon Ayuk. There were 4 guys in coverage right there, and it still was a touchdown. You know, whenever you see that on a screen and film, I don't know what answers you have because they called the right call. Even Kyle didn't think he would throw it, and it was just a dime of a throw. Geno made some good passes, had some good moments when he had time to throw, but he doesn't have a lot of time to throw. He's beat up. The offensive line is beat up. Defensively, they're kind of getting beat up. It's a bad time in the season. It's a bad time to be hurt. So hopefully a little bit more rest. You know, they at least got a week. Usually on Thursdays, you only get 4 days, 3-4 days. So at least you got a full week to recover and try to be prepared for this Dallas game. It should be a good game. I still think Seattle has a chance in it, and I still think they can play well, but they're going to need K9 back, and they're going to need all their receivers at full strength and playing their best, because if they don't play their best, it's going to be another tough week.
No doubt about that, Rich. And to make matters worse for the Seattle Seahawks, the Green Bay Packers pulled off a major upset, and now they're nipping at their heels originally it looked like it was a runaway for the Seahawks to make the postseason, but now they got something to worry about. This game on Thursday becomes even more important. I know you're going to be down in Dallas for it. Let's hope they can get healthy. But on the other side of the fence, when we look at a team that has lost their spark in the Seattle Seahawks, we look at a team in the San Francisco 49ers that is just a rocket ship, shooting to the moon right now, Rich. They are looking like the team that started this season that you were so high on. And Richard, they have a huge game, the NFC Championship revenge from last year with a healthy Brock Purdy this time. They're going into Philly, right, Rich? Philly just pulled off a big-time win, and they've been squeaking by this last month. But, Richard, who do you like in this game? Because this has got a lot of implications for the NFC between San Fran and the Philadelphia Eagles.
Well, this game has been circled on the schedule for the San Francisco 49ers since the offseason. I mean, since the game happened, it was right over. There were players chirping both ways. Obviously, Philly won. Brock Purdy got injured first drive of the game. So there's so many what-if questions for the San Francisco 49ers and their players. So they think they should have won that game last year. They think if they had Brock Purdy, they would have won that game. Well, here we are back in Philly in the same situation, different circumstances, because obviously this isn't the NFC Championship game. But I expect the San Francisco 49ers to win this game. Philadelphia has been battling and fighting, showing they can find different ways to win. But the way they have been struggling defensively and giving up points, I think there's a chance for the San Francisco 49ers to have a big game. That offensive line hasn't been as stout as it has in years past. And the 49ers over the past 3 weeks, since Chase Young has come on board, have been a lot more effective.
They sure have. And like you touched on earlier, Nick Bosa, 5 sacks in the last 3 weeks. Richard, he's this week's Making It Look Easy Player of the Week, brought to you by Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm. Again, Nicholas John Bosa made it look super easy against the Seahawks, and he's made it look super easy the last 3 weeks, ever since Chase Young joined the fold. 5 tackles, 2 sacks, 5 QB hits on Thanksgiving against Seattle. Let's see if he can make it happen again in Philly. They're going to need everything they can to be able to take down Jalen Hurts. I mean, Richard, this is not a guy that gets sacked often. So let's see if they can make it happen. Nicholas John Bosa, this week's Making It Look Easy Player of the Week, brought to you by Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm. If you're ever injured, go to Morgan & Morgan at forthepeople.com/Sherman or dial pound law. That's pound 529. Winning in this league is hard, but hiring Morgan & Morgan is easy.
Something magical happens when the third quarter ends and the fourth quarter begins. The energy changes. The fourth quarter is where games are won, where champions are made. And in business, it's where sales teams become legends. That's why HubSpot built Sales Hub to give sales reps the deal-making tools they need to win in Q4 and close the year strong. Sales Hub's prospecting workspace organizes your schedule, goals, and to-do list in one place to save your team precious fourth quarter time. Smart sequences help sales reps close deals faster than ever. With an easy-to-use management tool, reps can find, track, and close deals all in one place. Plus, AI forecasting helps you accurately predict future success, which means less hoping for deals and more crushing targets. Put your sales team on the fast track to winning Q4 with Sales Hub. Learn more at HubSpot.com/sales.
Richard, let's take it to Philly. We touched on it briefly. They pulled off an absolute doozy of a comeback against a very, very desperate Buffalo Bills team that is now 500. How does this happen? I mean, the Bills looked like the team we thought they were this whole year. Thought we could super competitive. Josh Allen playing his heart out, but it's just not enough.
Yeah, I'm starting to think that may be the case. They may just not have enough to be true contenders in this league this season. Josh Allen, even when he plays a solid, really, really good game, he threw for 339, 2 touchdowns, the 1 interception, ran it for 81 yards and two touchdowns. Like, it's still not enough. Even when Gabe Davis has a big game and answers the call, and Stephon Diggs is effective, and it's just not enough. And so I don't know. The Philadelphia Eagles are a complete team and one of the best teams in the National Football League. They had them against the ropes for the majority of the game. They were leading at the halftime. They looked like they were in total control of the game, especially a game in the elements. But at the end of the day, they didn't close it out. And that's a game they probably had to have. They got tough games down the stretch. They got to play Dallas. They got to play a lot of tough teams. They got to play Miami again. And this game may be the reason they missed the playoffs.
I think it's going to be the AFC playoff race is a severe tight one. For Philly, this was a huge win. It separates them from the Lions. It separates them from 49ers. They have a stranglehold on this number 1 seed. But, Richard, they've got to get it done. The thing with Philly is they can beat you in a number of ways. You know, they can pound the rock with DeAndre Swift. They can hit you in a deep ball with A.J. Brown. They can turn you over. You know, James Bradbury, huge interception in that game to get him back in it. And then we see Zacchaeus in the end zone with just a beautiful pass from Hurts. Richard, this is the first time, I think, in NFL history, I believe, that 2 quarterbacks have had multiple rushing touchdowns in the same game. Wild finish. Jake Elliott with an absolute bomb of a kick to force overtime. This, when you can win ugly like this, we talked about it last week with the Lions beating the Bears. If you can win ugly like this, when the Eagles in that first half were not playing their best football, they got a championship team here in Philly. This game, this upcoming weekend against the Niners, is going to be a huge measuring stick game for both teams. We'll see who comes on top.